It started with a travel nightmare, a flight delayed, a missed connection, and 2 days stranded in a Manhattan hotel. But what sparked between me and Ethan during those lost days was anything but ordinary. It was a connection that felt like rewriting your life's code, a whisper that boundaries were meant to be shattered. I hadn't planned for it. Years I'd spent perfecting the role. Devoted wife, supportive stepmom, the woman always in her lane. But life has a way of detonating in the most mundane places. An airport lounge, a quiet bench overlooking Central Park, a hotel suite miles from anyone who knew my name. What Ethan and I found in those stolen hours was electric, forbidden, and utterly life-altering. But what came after, what we stumbled upon, was more dangerous than either of us could have imagined. Hours I'd been stuck in that airport lounge, glued to the flickering departure screen that refused to budge. The storm raging outside had grounded flights across the Northeast. The air thrummed with the collective frustration of stranded travelers. My husband, Robert, had called once, a curt check-in. "Just ride it out, Sarah," he'd barked, his usual brusque tone. "You'll get home." Robert never asked how I was, if I needed anything. He rarely did anymore. For a decade, our marriage had been a business arrangement, not a romance. He lived for his Wall Street deals, and I filled my days with interior design projects, charity galas, and the occasional strained dinner party. Parallel lives linked only by shared address and obligations. Ethan, Robert's son from his first marriage, sat across from me, lost in his laptop. He'd inherited his father's sharp features, that relentless work ethic. But where Robert was cold, calculating, Ethan had a warmth that always intrigued me. We weren't close. Cordial, formal, our relationship defined by roles, not real connection. "Any updates?" Ethan asked, glancing up, his eyes tired. "Still nothing," I sighed, forcing a polite smile. "Looks like we're here a while." He leaned back, running a hand through his dark hair. "Guess we make the best of it." When the announcement finally came, flight canceled, we were herded onto shuttle buses to a hotel downtown, along with a swarm of other furious passengers. The kind of sleek, impersonal place designed for business travelers, efficiency over charm. Ethan and I checked in at the same time, exchanging weary glances as we got our key cards. "I'm grabbing a drink," he said as we stepped into the elevator. "Want to join?" I hesitated. Normally, I would have politely declined. Something about being alone with Ethan felt complicated, but the thought of my sterile hotel room staring at blank walls was suffocating. "Sure," I said, surprising myself. "Why not?" The rooftop bar was dim, panoramic windows framing a breathtaking view of the city skyline. The rain had eased to a drizzle, city lights shimmering on the wet streets below. Ethan ordered an old-fashioned. I went for white wine, grateful for the numbing comfort of alcohol to take the edge off my unease. We talked for hours. Conversation flowed easier than I expected. Ethan told me about his startup, a tech company focused on sustainable energy, the uphill battle of launching a business in his 20s. I shared stories from my design career, surprised by his genuine interest. "You're way more creative than I realized," he said at one point, swirling the amber liquid in his glass. "I guess I always just thought of you as Dad's wife." I laughed, though the comment stung a little. "Well, I suppose that's fair. I've never been great at showing people who I really am." "That's a shame," he said, his gaze lingering. "There's a lot more to you than meets the eye." His words hung between us, and for the first time in years I felt a flicker of something stir. Recognition, maybe. Someone had noticed the parts of me I'd buried under layers of wife and stepmother. I sipped my wine, letting the warmth soften the edges. "You're full of surprises yourself," I said, hoping to deflect. "I didn't know you were so passionate about sustainability." Robert never mentioned it. Ethan's smile tightened. "Dad and I don't exactly see eye to eye on a lot of things. He thinks what I'm doing is a waste of time. That I should be working for a real company." His words, not mine. "Sounds like him," I admitted. "Robert's always been practical to a fault." "That's a diplomatic way of putting it," Ethan chuckled. For a moment, comfortable silence settled. The hum of quiet conversations, soft clink of glasses. The city spread out like a glittering map. "You know," Ethan said, breaking the quiet, "it's kind of nice being stuck here with you." I raised an eyebrow, surprised by his honesty. "Oh yeah? Why's that?" He hesitated, gaze flicking to the window, searching for words. "I guess I've never really had a chance to get to know you. Not like this. You're different than I thought." "Different how?" I asked, my voice softer now. He met my eyes, a flicker of something unspoken passing between us. "I think I'll keep that to myself for now." The tension in the air was subtle, undeniable. My pulse quickened. Just us, high above the city, far from judging eyes. The roles that usually defined us felt porous. The next day, rain hammered against the windows. The airline offered no hope of flights resuming. Ethan suggested exploring the city, killing time. I hesitated, but the thought of another day in my hotel room was unbearable. We ventured out, wandering through Greenwich Village, ducking into art galleries, cozy cafes, places I never visited with Robert. We stumbled upon a pocket park, tucked between brownstones, paths lined with rain-soaked benches, blooming hydrangeas. "This feels like a secret," I said, sinking onto a bench beneath a dripping awning. Ethan joined me, his jacket damp. "I like finding places like this," he said. "Makes the city chaos feel manageable." I smiled, watching him tilt his head back, gaze at the sky. The rain softened to a mist, air cool, fresh. For the first time in years, I felt unburdened, like I could breathe without the weight of expectation. "Do you ever feel like you've lost yourself?" I blurted out, words spilling before I could stop them. Ethan turned, brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" "I mean, do you ever feel like you've become someone else? Someone you don't even recognize, just to fit into a role?" He was quiet, thoughtful. "Yeah," he said finally. "I think we all do in a way, but it's up to us to figure out how to get back to who we really are." His words resonated deep. A lump rose in my throat. "I'm not sure I even know who I am anymore," I admitted. Ethan reached out, his hand brushing mine. Comforting, electric. Maybe this trip is a chance to figure that out. Later that evening, back at the rooftop bar. City lights glittered below, hum of voices a soft cocoon. "You've got this way of seeing the world," Ethan said, his voice low. "It's refreshing. I don't think I've ever told you that." A blush warmed my cheeks, surprised by the vulnerability in his tone. "Thank you," I said softly. We stayed for hours, conversation flowing, barriers dissolving. By the time we went back to our rooms, I felt a strange mix of exhilaration and unease, standing on the edge of something unnamed. The next morning, the city was shrouded in mist, rain casting a dreamy haze. Ethan suggested a walk to a viewpoint in Brooklyn Bridge Park. Promised skyline views, even in the weather. We walked side by side, comfortable silence, soft rain a rhythm to our steps. When we reached the top, the sight stole my breath. Manhattan stretched out, a living mosaic, rain lending it a surreal, shimmering quality. "This is incredible," I whispered, voice lost in the quiet. Ethan stood beside me, hands in pockets, thoughtful. "Sometimes I think moments like this are what life's all about. Just being here, now." I turned to him. The world seemed to still. Something in his gaze, a depth of emotion I hadn't seen before. "Thank you," I said softly. "For what?" "For being here, for seeing me." He smiled, slow, genuine. My heart ached, a good ache. And then, before I could think, I reached out, my hand brushing his. Fleeting touch, but a spark ignited, something neither of us could ignore. We stood there, rain falling, the city a silent witness to the moment everything shifted. Rain started again as we left the viewpoint, a steady drizzle painting the city silver and gray. Ethan offered his jacket. I shook my head, enjoying the cool drops on my skin, cleansing like the rain could wash away the weight of everything. "You're quiet," Ethan said, his voice cutting through the rhythm of our steps. I glanced at him, thoughts tangled in the moment on the hill. "Just thinking about how strange this all is," I admitted. "Being here with you, it feels different." He raised an eyebrow, playful smile. "Different good or different bad?" I hesitated, choosing words carefully. "Different good. I think it's been a long time since I felt this light." He nodded, his expression softening. "I get that. Sometimes life feels so heavy, but then something or someone comes along and reminds you what it's like to just be." His words struck deep. Warmth rose in my chest. We walked in silence. City unfolding around us. Rain softened to mist. Back at the hotel, I was reluctant to part ways. Ethan sensed it, paused outside my door. "Do you want to grab a drink or something?" he asked finally, casual tone, but his eyes searching mine. I hesitated, torn between the voice screaming distance and the pull toward him, magnetic, inexplicable. "Sure," I said, surprising myself. "Just give me a few minutes to freshen up." When we met in the lobby, atmosphere had shifted. Unspoken understanding, quiet awareness neither dared acknowledge aloud. We wandered the hotel, found a quiet lounge tucked away on an upper floor, nearly empty. Dim lighting, soft jazz, intimate cocoon. Ethan ordered whiskey, I opted for wine. Familiar comfort steadying my nerves. "This feels like one of those moments you don't forget," Ethan said, after a while, his voice low. What do you mean? I asked, tracing the rim of my glass. I mean this. Sitting here with you, it feels important somehow. I smiled, heart racing. You have a way of making everything sound profound, you know that. He chuckled, gaze locked on mine. Maybe, or maybe it's just you. Weight of his words settled. Air shifted. Tension grew. Seconds ticked by. I looked away, focusing on the flickering candle, but I could feel his eyes, warm, steady. Then I began, whisper, this, whatever this is, it's dangerous. Maybe, he admitted, but sometimes the best things are. I met his gaze. Momentarily saw something that caught my breath. Vulnerability, desire, mirroring my own. Unspoken truths, uncharted territory. Exhilarated, terrified. I should probably go, I said, rising. He stood too, slow, deliberate. I'll walk you back. Walked to my room a blur, thoughts chaotic mess. When we reached my door, I turned, heart pounding. Good night, I said softly, hand on the handle. Good night, Sarah, he replied, gentle voice. Silence, heavy with unspoken words. Then, before I could stop myself, I leaned in, soft kiss to his cheek, meant to be innocent, gratitude. But as I pulled back, lips brushed his. Spark ignited, something I couldn't contain. He froze, unsure. Panic surged, then his hand cupped my face, warm, steady, no turning back. Kiss soft at first, tentative, testing. Then it deepened. Fire building, breathless. His hands moved to my waist, pulling me closer, surrendering to the moment. Emotions bottled for so long. When we finally broke apart, forehead rested against mine, breaths mingling. Sarah, he murmured, voice rough. I know, I whispered, heart racing. This can't happen. It's wrong. But it feels right, he said, eyes searching mine. No answer. Walls crumbling. Truly alive for the first time in years. That night, awake in bed, replaying the kiss. Guilt, sharp, unrelenting. But also his touch, the way he looked at me, like I was the only person in the world. Mistake, I told myself. Weakness. Not to be repeated. But deep down, I knew. Not simple. Something shifted. Something I couldn't ignore. Next morning, Ethan waiting in lobby. Expression unreadable. Small smile when he saw me. Eyes warm, understanding. Good morning. Soft voice. Morning, I replied, heart skipping. No talk of the night before. But tension palpable. Invisible thread connecting us. Pulling closer even as I tried to pull away. Day wore on, drawn to him. Irresistible pull. Sunset, I knew. No going back. Rain returned that evening, steady patter against hotel windows, dining room quiet, travelers retreated, Ethan and I corner table, single candle, air different now, charged, fragile, caught him glancing at me, looked away, unsure what I'd see. You've been quiet today, he said, breaking silence, sipped wine, gathering thoughts, just thinking about last night, nodded, heart pounding. It was a mistake, Ethan. We both know that. He leaned forward, elbows on table, steady gaze. Was it, though? Because it didn't feel like one to me. Sighed, hand through hair. It's not that simple. You're my stepson. This is wrong. Maybe, he admitted. But does it feel wrong to you? Question punched me. Words wouldn't come. Truth was, no, not in the way it should. Complicated, yes. Dangerous, absolutely. But also real, most honest thing in years. I don't know, I whispered, barely audible. He reached across, hand brushing mine, light touch, tentative, shiver down spine. Sarah, he said, I need to know, is this just me, or do you feel it too? Looked at him, defenses crumbling. I feel it, I admitted, voice trembling, but that doesn't mean it's right. Sometimes the right thing isn't the thing that makes sense, he said softly. Sometimes it's just what you need. His words hung. Momentarily imagined a world where it could be that simple. No Robert, no judgment. Just follow my heart, no fear. But not our world, I knew it. We can't do this, Ethan, I said, pulling hand away. It's too much. He leaned back, disappointed, not surprised. I get it, he said quietly. But that doesn't change how I feel about you. Pang of guilt, giving hope, then taking it away. Ethan, you're a wonderful man. Kind, intelligent, passionate. But it's not just us. Other people involved. People who could get hurt. He nodded, jaw tightening. I know, but doesn't make it easier to walk away. Later, wandering hotel halls, sleepless, mind whirlwind of guilt, longing, fear, replaying conversation, his words, a melody I couldn't forget. Ended up in lounge, change of scenery, not expecting Ethan, alone in leather armchair by window, looked up as I entered, expression softened. Couldn't sleep either, shook head, taking seat across from him. Mind won't stop racing. Same here, he admitted, leaning back. Silence. Rain streaking windows like liquid silver. Despite everything, his presence comforting, grounding. I feel like I've been living someone else's life, I said suddenly, surprising myself. Turned to me, brow furrowed. What do you mean? I mean, my marriage, my career, everything. Like I've been playing a role so long I don't even know who I am anymore. Ethan nodded, thoughtful gaze. I think a lot of people feel that way, but it takes courage to admit it, to even recognize it. Sighed, looking down at hands. Don't know if it's courage or just exhaustion. Spent so many years trying to be perfect wife, perfect stepmom, perfect everything. Now I feel like I don't even know what I want. He leaned forward, eyes locking on mine. What do you want, Sarah? If you could have anything, anything at all, what would it be? Question caught me off guard. Couldn't speak. What did I want? Question I'd stopped asking years ago. Too consumed by demands to consider something more. I want to feel alive again, I said finally, whisper. Ethan reached for my hand. Warm, steady touch. You deserve that, he said softly. You deserve to be happy. His words brought tears. Looked away, afraid of what he'd see, but deep down, I knew he was right. I did deserve to be happy. Just didn't know how. We talked for hours, sharing pieces of ourselves never shared before. Ethan told me about struggles with Robert, pressure to meet impossible standards. I told him about loneliness in marriage, Robert's indifference making me invisible. By sunrise, strange clarity. Conversation peeled back layers I hadn't realized were there. Ethan, I said softly, voice tinged with gratitude, sadness. Thank you. For what? For seeing me, I replied, tears welling, for reminding me what it feels like to be noticed. He smiled, quiet, genuine, heartache. You deserve that, Sarah. Don't ever let anyone make you feel otherwise. As I stood to leave, he reached for my hand one last time. Touch lingering, promise, quiet understanding. No matter what happened next, we'd given each other something undone. Hours after lounge conversation passed in haze. Morning wandering hotel, thoughts racing. Ethan's words lingered. Doubts, desires creating storm. By afternoon, rain cleared, city bathed in golden light. Decided to walk, fresh air, clarity. Stepped into elevator, phone buzzed. Message from Ethan. Rooftop terrace? Hesitated. Thumb hovering. Rational part screaming, ignore him. Let moment pass. Before it undid me. But pull too strong. Magnetic. Irresistible. On my way, I replied. Heart pounding. Terrace quiet when I arrived. Tables, chairs damp. Ethan leaning against railing, back to me, gaze skyline. Setting sun, warm glow on his profile. Paused, unsure what to say. He turned as I approached. Small smile. Hey. Hey, I replied, softer than intended. Silence. Unspoken words heavy. Finally, he gestured to nearby bench. Sit with me. Nodded, following, sitting beside him. View breathtaking. City stretched out, kaleidoscope of colors. This is beautiful, I whispered. It is, he agreed, gaze fixed on me, not skyline. Blush, looked away. Horizon. What are we doing, Ethan? Quiet moment. When he spoke, voice low, hesitant. I don't know. All I know is being here with you feels right. Like I finally found something I didn't know I was looking for. Shivers down spine. Turned to him, heart racing. This can't happen, I said softly, voice fading conviction. But it already is, he replied, steady gaze. Honesty, breathless. Defenses crumbling, opened mouth to protest. Stop. Words wouldn't come. Instead, he reached for hand, fingers warm. Sarah, he said, voice vulnerability, determination. Not asking for forever, just asking for right now. Stared at him. Thoughts, chaotic swirl. Fear, longing. Part of me wanted to run, retreat to safety, pretend none of this. But another part, starved for connection, passion, couldn't walk away. I don't know how to do this, I admitted, trembling voice. You don't have to know, he said softly. Just let it happen. Sun dipped below horizon. We went back inside. City lights twinkling, darkened sky. Ethan walked beside me, hand lightly on my back. Comforting? possessive, reached his room, paused at door, gaze searching mine. Are you sure? Hesitated, heart pounding, moment of no return, line we couldn't uncross, but looked at him. Quiet vulnerability, resolve slipped away. Yes, I whispered, barely audible. He opened door, stepped inside, breath catching, reality sinking in. Dim room, curtains drawn. Privacy, thrilling, terrifying. Silence, weight of moment. Then, slowly, Ethan reached for me, hands gently on shoulders. You can tell me to stop, he said, low, steady. I won't, I replied, firm voice despite storm inside. Blur of sensations, hesitation, urgency, breathless, Ethan gentle, passionate, touch igniting fire I hadn't felt in years. For the first time in forever, let go, surrendering to moment, everything it represented. When it was over, silence. Breathing only sound. Ethan's arm draped over me, fingers tracing patterns on skin, stared at ceiling. Thoughts tangled web, guilt, exhilaration, something unnamed. Are you okay? He asked softly, voice pulling me back. I don't know, I admitted, turning to face him. I feel different. He nodded, steady gaze. So do I. Searched his face. Regret? No. Quiet determination. What happens now? He sighed, brushing hair from my face. I don't know, but whatever it is, we'll figure it out together. Next morning, world same, completely different. Rain stopped, city washed clean, air crisp. Ethan and I breakfast in hotel dining room. Conversation light, easy, undercurrent of tension, couldn't stop thinking about last night. Choices, consequences, part of me wanted to push aside, pretend it hadn't happened, but another part, alive in his arms, knew impossible. As we prepared to leave, return to normal lives, Ethan pulled me aside, serious expression. Sarah, he said, low voice. No matter what happens, I don't regret a single moment. Nodded, throat tight. Neither do I. Stepped out into city, sun shining, everything changed. Returning home, familiar prison. Walls of apartment, once comfort, routine, now suffocating. Robert there, calm, polished, oblivious. Perfunctory kiss on cheek, barely glanced up from laptop. Good trip? Disinterested tone. It was fine, I replied, neutral voice. Glanced at Ethan, walked in behind. Expression blank, strange seeing him here again. Back in roles. Dutiful wife, reserved stepson. But beneath surface, everything shifted. We both knew. Robert didn't notice tension, absorbed in business deal lighting up phone. But that night, in bed beside him, feeling something off. Days passed. Ethan and I avoided being alone. Unspoken agreement, distance, navigating new reality. But despite space, felt his presence. Constant hum, reminder of connection. One evening, Robert working late in study, Ethan cornered me in kitchen. We need to talk. Low voice. Glanced toward hallway. Alone? Not here, I whispered. Let's go outside. Stepped onto balcony. Cool night air. Ethan leaned against railing, serious. Something's not right. Urgent voice. Overheard Dad on phone earlier. Offshore accounts, moving money around. Didn't sound legal. Stomach twisted. Are you sure? He nodded. Suspicious for a while. Business deals never add up. Secrecy. But what I heard tonight confirms it. He's hiding something, Sarah. Something big. Wave of unease. Robert always guarded about work. Vague answers, dismissive comments. Assumed just his way. Distant, calculating man. But now, Ethan's words. Realized more to it than I wanted to see. What do we do? Trembling voice. Ethan hesitated, jaw tightening. We figure out what he's hiding. If it's as bad as I think, we need to protect ourselves. Next day, Robert out. Ethan and I searching apartment for clues. Surreal. Rummaging through drawers, filing cabinets. Home shared with him for decade. But uncovered documents. Cryptic emails. Bank statements. Untraceable transfers. Offshore account numbers. Truth impossible to ignore. Robert wasn't bending rules. Breaking them. This is bad, Ethan said, brow furrowed, studying document. If this gets out, he could go to prison. And if we're tied to it, swallowed hard, mind racing. We need to get out of this, Ethan. Can't let him drag us down. He nodded, sharp gaze. Agreed, but we need more proof. Solid. Use if this blows up. That evening, Robert, oblivious, poured scotch, settled into armchair. Confidence secrets safe. But I couldn't look at him same way. Man shared life with. Trusted, now stranger, dangerous. Sarah, he said suddenly, gaze flicking toward me. You've been quiet lately. Everything all right? Forced smile, masking storm. Just tired, I replied. Trip took more out of me than I thought. He nodded, satisfied. Attention back to drink. But as I watched him, flicker of resolve, growing within me, Ethan and I continued digging, piecing together web. Darker it became. Links to shell companies, payments to unknowns, hints of partnerships with people whose names chilled me. One name stood out. Dominic Vega. Who is he? I asked, staring at name on document. Ethan's expression darkened. He's bad news. Dad mentioned him once, years ago. Some kind of fixer, makes problems disappear. If Dad's working with him, serious. Dread settled. Not just money, tax evasion, bigger, dangerous. Week later, tension broke. Robert confronted Ethan in study. Low, angry voice. I stood outside door, heart racing, straining to hear. You've been asking too many questions, Robert said, cold tone. Don't know what you think you're doing, but you need to stop now. Just trying to understand, Ethan replied, steady, defiant voice. You've been keeping secrets, Dad, big ones. Time you came clean. Long pause. Robert spoke again, dangerously quiet. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. Stay out of it, Ethan. Not warning. Promise. Chill ran down spine, hurried away, mind racing. Robert wasn't hiding something, willing to do anything to protect it. That night, Ethan and I met in guest room. Apartment rarely used, sat side by side on worn couch, weight of discoveries. What do we do now? Whisper. Ethan sighed, hand through hair. We need to get out, both of us, but can't just leave, need to be safe. Nodded, mind racing. Leverage. Something to protect ourselves, if Robert comes after us. Ethan's gaze steady. Then we keep digging, but careful. If he finds out... Didn't finish sentence. Implication clear. Robert wasn't just husband, father. Dangerous connections. Game we weren't sure we could win. Days passed. Tension unbearable. Every conversation with Robert a test. Every glance a threat. Ethan and I worked quietly. Final pieces. Time running out. Awake at night, staring at ceiling, feeling everything crashing down. Apartment eerily quiet. Night, it all came to head. Robert, unusually tense all day. Sharp commands, clipped tones, everyone on edge. Ethan stayed in his room, but storm brewing, matter of time. That evening, Robert called me to study, door ajar. Hesitated before stepping inside. Sitting at desk, laptop glowed, dim light, scotch in hand. Close the door, he said, without looking up. Obeyed. Weight of room pressing down. Stood before desk. He leaned back, studying me. Intensity, stomach twists. Do you want to tell me what's going on? Calm, steel voice. Forced myself to meet gaze. I don't know what you mean. Set glass down. Deliberate care. Sharp sound. Don't play games, Sarah. Not in mood. Heart pounded. Composure. Robert, I don't know what you're talking about. Leaned forward, expression darkening. I'm talking about you and Ethan. Sneaking around apartment like thieves, documents you've been going through, lying to my face. Panic surge, steady voice. You're being paranoid. Cold, humorless laugh. Am I? Then explain this. Turned laptop. Blood ran cold. Images on screen. Surveillance footage, Ethan and me, guest room, documents, opened mouth, no words. Nothing to say? Mocking tone. Didn't think so. Nausea. Extent of control. Watching us. Tracking, waiting to strike. Robert, I began, trembling voice. It's not what it looks like. Oh, it's exactly what it looks like, he snapped, rising. You and Ethan conspiring against me, digging into things you don't understand. Stepped back as he approached, looming presence. We were just trying to understand, Robert. You've been hiding things that could ruin all of us. Stopped, eyes narrowing. What exactly do you think you've uncovered? Offshore accounts, I said. Courage. Shell companies, payments to people like Dominic Vega. Robert, you're involved in things that could destroy everything. Expression shifted. Dangerous flicker. And what exactly do you plan to do with this information? Hesitated. Answer he needed. Moved closer. Menacing whisper. You think you can threaten me? Use this against me? Let me make something very clear, Sarah. I've built this life, this empire, and I won't let anyone, not even you, take it away from me. Fear in voice, rage too. realized, not just protecting himself, desperate. Before I could respond, study door burst open. Ethan stepped inside. Flushed face, anger. "Leave her alone," steady, fierce voice. Robert turned, disbelief. "You're defending her now? After everything?" "Yes," Ethan replied, stepping beside me, "because she's the only one in this apartment who hasn't completely lost her soul." Robert's eyes narrowed. "You have no idea what you're talking about, Ethan. Naive kid playing hero." "Maybe," Ethan said, "but I know enough to see what you've become, and I won't let you hurt her, or me." Room crackled. Father and son face off. Years of resentment, betrayal, air thick, suffocating. Robert's anger boiled over. "You want to protect her?" Robert snarled, rising voice. "Fine, but let me tell you something, Ethan. This isn't a game. This is my life. Our life. And you don't get to destroy it because you don't like how I play." "Your life," Ethan said, sharp tone. "That's all it's ever been about, hasn't it? You and your empire, your ego. You don't care about anyone else. Not me, not Sarah, just yourself." Robert's hand clenched fist. Thought he might strike Ethan. Stepped back, colder, more calculating expression. "You think you're so clever," low, dangerous voice. "But you have no idea what you're getting yourselves into. Don't know the people I'm dealing with. Keep pushing, you'll regret it." Turned to me, hard gaze. "And you, Sarah, you think you can betray me and walk away unscathed? Think again." Chill ran down spine. Words sank in. Not bluffing. Built power. Wouldn't let slip. "You should both leave," he said finally, icy tone. "Pack your things, get out of my apartment, but don't think for a second this is over." Ethan and I retreated to guest room, hearts heavy, packed quickly. Couldn't stay under Robert's roof, loading bags into Ethan's car. Fear, relief, fear of what Robert might do, relief, finally leaving, driving away, apartment fading. Ethan reached over, took my hand. "We'll figure this out," he said softly. "Together." Nodded, tight throat, road uncertain, danger, doubt, but glimmer of hope, belief. No matter what happened, we'd face it together.